Have you ever found yourself sitting there watching a Naruto movie, thinking to yourself like, well, how does this fit in the timeline? When did they have the time to go here and do this and see this person? Who even are these people? Who are you people? That's why this video exists. I'm about to try and make it all make sense. Lord help me. All right off the bat, we got one of the movies that absolutely cannot work in the original timeline of the story in no possible way, because Sasuke would have definitely been in no condition physically or mentally to be some bodyguard for this princess of a snow kingdom in some faraway country. At first, I was thinking like maybe in the anime, at least, this could take place at any point during that down period between the Tsunade arc and Sasuke leaving. But even if Sasuke was present, Kakashi definitely wasn't, because he was also in the hospital. Of course, he being packed up by Itachi as well. It is possible, and I've heard this a couple times over the years, that this could have taken place during that one filler episode when they're trying to unmask Kakashi. The timing would match up because Naruto does know the Rasengan at this point. It's unclear how long exactly they spent trolling him, but it was at least a few days, just because they have a bunch of gag scenes in the episode where they jump cut to the next day. They could have easily banged out this mission in the meantime. Now I'm just imagining this whole episode being some kind of comedic side plot in the movie and wondering why they didn't go down this route. Tragic. There is this one scene in the episode where Kakashi's fanning out over the whole Icha Paradise movie announcement, the same movie that they just so happen to be watching at the beginning of the film. There's not really any indication, or I guess I should say verification, on when this filler episode is supposed to take place. It's a shame they never fight in this episode, because that would really help me out. The original Omake chapter, all by Kishimoto himself, which this episode was based on, that was released in a data book for the manga, all the way back in the middle of the Konoha Crush arc, which sort of implies that this happens around the Chunin exam. This type of context is critical. Naruto, again, uses the Rasengan, so it has to come after the Tsunade arc, because that's when Naruto learns the move. But now I feel like I'm just over-explaining. Yeah, I don't know, man. I promise I'm not going to do this for all of them. This is going to be like a last resort type of thing. But for this one, Philander Snow, I don't know. I feel like this will work a lot better as one of those, moving the chair ever so slightly, the smallest, most insignificant thing turning into this huge butterfly effect what if scenario, right? What if Itachi showed up like, I don't know, a week later? Stay with me now. Like, not immediately the day after the third Hokage's funeral. Doesn't affect the story at all, really. Kakashi and Sasuke can still get packed up when they try confronting him. And then Jiraiya, potentially Tsunade as well, because I'm moving this whole situation to after the search for her. They can still drive him out the village in a similar way that they did. Naruto obviously wouldn't be there because he's off training, but once they finally return, in this universe, Naruto could even play a part in, I was about to say spooking, intriguing Itachi with his fancy new powerful jutsu, right? So the new timeline of events will basically go Hiruzen's funeral, the search for Tsunade, then the land of snow, and then Itachi could show up when they get back or something. And you go from there. With this, not only do we have a reason for Naruto knowing the Rasengan in this movie, we have both Sasuke and Kakashi healthy enough to participate in this mission, but we also get just a little bit more rage fuel for Sasuke. And then Land of Tea right after this. Damn, that's the inferiority complex 3-piece combo. This movie and the next one are pretty easy. This could take place at any point between when Naruto first gets discharged from the hospital and when he ultimately leaves to train with Jiraiya. In the manga, herself says that 3 whole months pass while Naruto recovers in the hospital, and it's implied to be an immediate departure for him, but knowing Tsunade, it probably wasn't. She probably wanted to monitor him for at least a few days to make sure he was good. And by monitor him, I mean squeezing some labor out of him before he takes this 3-year extended leave from his job, basically. If we're going by the release date, then this should take place somewhere around the Mizuki tracking filler mission. The wiki claims that this should take place between the Mizuki mission and the Bikochu Beetle mission specifically. However, in my opinion, I like to believe that this takes place before both of these arcs, and before the Land of Rice as well. I could totally see this as being Naruto's first mission out of the hospital. A simple little mission, returning somebody's pet ferret to them, right? Very easy, very low effort for a still recovering Naruto at this point. It's not not his fault that the ferret ended up being this national treasure for an ancient civilization. The sand being in this movie doesn't really cause any issues. Makes total sense for them to still be out and about, probably searching for Orochimaru to get their lip back from the tuning exams. Or they could be looking for the Akatsuki to get the jump on them before they inevitably come looking for Gaara, and then all of a sudden stumbling upon this entirely new conflict, right? Totally plausible. Sakura isn't using any healing jutsu or anywhere near the same level of taijutsu in this movie as she does in the next one, which leads me to believe that this comes after she starts training with Tsunade, which she only comes to the decision to do during the Land of Rice arc. Filler, obviously. And then, I don't know if you've ever seen it. A lot of people don't like all the part 1 filler. I've always loved how the Land of Rice, the Mizuki mission, and the Bikochu mission all kind of lead into each other seamlessly. And I would just hate to break that flow of continuity. Another one that happens vaguely anywhere in the 3 months before Naruto leaves. Every resource on the internet claims this movie is supposed to take place between episodes 196 and 197. They did show clips of it in the openings around this time, so if this works for you, then it works for you. This will be well into Sakura's training. We see that on full display. Naruto and Rock Lee were like best friends. He was in all the episodes around this time. Shout out to Third Grade Beast and Raiga. A B rank mission is a bit much, a bit extreme for what was, again, a still recovering Naruto from the Sasuke battle. But hey, that's what Kakashi's here for. If that's what works for you, fine. Me, honestly, I think this would be great if this was Naruto's final mission before leaving. This is Team 7's last mission before the time skip. Naruto, Sakura, and Kakashi don't go on any more missions together until the start of Shippuden. The Nine Tails incident on the beach would absolutely be something Kakashi would pass on to Jiraiya, becoming the reason why the containment of the QB chakra was such a high priority once he started his training with Naruto. We all know how well that went. And then Kakashi in this movie, overusing his Sharingan. Once again, this could maybe be the straw that breaks the camel's back and leads to his training over the time skip and developing his Mangekyo Sharingan. So yeah, I mean, it could take place between episodes 196 and 197, but I could see this taking place after the Sunagakure rescue mission as well. Works way better as the finale to the original anime, if you ask me. Given Kakashi's absence in this movie, this would have to take place after the Kazekage rescue mission because, once again, Kakashi, our boy Kakashi, would be back in the hospital from overusing his Sharingan. That 2 years of training ain't do shit. There's also no mention of either Sai or Yamato, so definitely after Kazekage rescue mission, but before the formation of the new Team 7. The day that Naruto first meets Sai in episode 33 is said to be 4 days after his return to the village after saving Gaara. And this movie only takes place over the course of 2 or 3 days max, if you factor in travel time and all that. So yeah, I see no reason why Tsunade couldn't squeeze in another quick bodyguard mission after they just did another sort of bodyguard mission with Chiyo, especially alongside Neji and Rock Lee, who were on that same exact mission and most likely have a similarly open schedule now after returning to the village. I mean, it doesn't really give Naruto or Sakura any rest time between arcs, but it's fine. This is literally their job. This could also be another reason for the village elders to confront Tsunade at the beginning of the next arc about the dangers of sending Naruto on all of these away missions while the Akatsuki is still looking for him. Especially if there's also 1,000-year-old evil spirits looking for powerful host bodies to use to plunge the entire world into a millennia of darkness, right? I'd say that's a good reason to add an undercover Anbu to the team. Am I a op? Alright, another sort of difficult one. The only time this movie can happen has to be during Naruto's Wind Chakra training. A, because that's the only somewhat rest period we have before the next major event in the story, which is Asuma's death. Team 10 is all over this movie. And B, because Naruto wasn't really all that shocked to see Sasuke here, which tells me that this wasn't their first encounter and it had to have happened after the raid on Orochimaru's hideout. Naruto's training only lasted for about a week, so it's a little bit of a stretch to say that this whole huge terrorist attack on Konoha boomed an entire section of a village and just came and went, basically, with Konoha being fully restored and everything within a couple of days. Back in Naruto was supposed to happen around this time too, so man, that was a busy week. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, it wasn't really like that bad of a terrorist attack. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't as bad as what Pain did. It was really only one aerial attack. They kept showing the same section of the village over and over again, a section of the village that we never see again. And they could have like rebuilt it off screen, or I don't know, fuck it. Maybe everybody just had to move. One thing's for sure, if there was ever a reason to postpone his training, this will be it. There is a lot of futon foreshadowing here in this movie. Naruto's Rasengans here are looking a little bit more windier. It's like he has been doing some training, but he hasn't gotten to the Rasen Shuriken yet. Again, Team 10 is in this movie. Shikamaru shows up doing some reconnaissance in the beginning, which kind of throws things off a little bit, but maybe they got like immediately pulled away as soon as the credits started rolling to anyways. Yeah, like maybe this was at the beginning of the week. I have no idea how Naruto makes up any of this lost training time. Probably more shadow clones. And where the fuck is Yamato in this movie? All this constant Ninetales chakra leakage going on. Where is he at? Hopefully building houses for all of these brand new homeless people. Ah, yes. The prototype Obito movie. This one is easy because Shikamaru plays a huge role in this movie. Atsuma's death is directly brought up by him. Plus, there's also plenty of downtime for the entire village of Konoha, while we follow Sasuke around this time, off elsewhere assembling his own personal crew. There was hardly any focus on Konoha or any of the 5 great nations for quite a while. Eventually, the village does have to get word of Orochimaru being slaughtered by Sasuke, which is when that whole 8-man team was formed to go look for him while he was looking for Itachi. But we know that Sasuke assembling Hebi had to have taken him at least a couple of days. Not only did he have a few different places to visit at opposite sides of the country, but he damn sure take his sweet time getting there, which gives the Leaf plenty of time to deal with this rogue ninja terrorizing one of their top Jonin and almost causing them to wage war with the entire shinobi world. Jiraiya's in this movie too, so that kind of makes sense. Maybe he was still on the road. He didn't come back with the news yet. The only thing I feel like needs explaining is how Sasuke didn't see Hiruko's whole declaration of war thing, projecting himself in the sky across the entire continent. It's actually quite simple. That man just don't give a fuck. At this point, man, he's like this close to finally accomplishing the one goal he devoted his entire life for. So even though he probably saw it, he also probably could not care less. And then I guess also Naruto's arm is supposed to be broken after using the Rasen Shuriken for the first time. I mean, you can't really see his arm, so it could still be bandaged up. Naruto starts out the movie in the hospital with Sai. He could have just healed quicker than usual because of the Ninetales chakra and then got himself injured again in the movie. This movie's a bit of a weird one. The only place I can think to put this is like right before Naruto leaves for his training on Mount Myoboku, the Senjutsu training. I kind of have to because he doesn't use Sage Mode here. I guess this would also explain why Naruto doesn't recognize Minato, his father. This is, of course, because they wouldn't meet until the middle of the battle with Pain. Not physically, but spiritually. I always watched this movie growing up thinking this was a huge plot hole, but now it kind of makes sense. Yeah, I'm thinking like specifically like around the time Tsunade and everybody was trying to decipher Jiraiya's last message. Somewhere around anime episode 153 or manga chapter 406. It didn't take them long to crack the code, pretty much just 2 days. Naruto taking a day to grieve over Jiraiya before he finally helps them out on the second day. It's a bit unrealistic to say that he had the time or energy to go on any missions around this time, but I mean, this is all I have to work with. Maybe this is another one of those butterfly effects. Let's say they took, I don't know, the Anbu and the crypto analysis team took like one more day to try and solve the code without Naruto. And while that's happening, Team 7 could be off in the desert handling this quick little side mission, capturing a wanted rogue shinobi from the hidden sand that was supposed to be quick and easy, ended up turning into this whole thing. But it's okay because time manipulation jutsu shenanigans. This whole movie was only like a couple of hours in real time. Now, Naruto should still be depressed after hearing about what happened to Jiraiya, but he did have a little heart-to-heart with Iruka on the first night, which kinda helped him get himself together. He was a little foggy, but he was still able to go on missions. Shikamaru assumes that's what he's busy doing when he goes to ask Naruto for help with Jiraiya's message. Let's just say in this alternate timeline, the reason why they take another day is because Naruto's just not home. Instead, Shikamaru has to come back the next day. It's a bit cruel of Tsunade to just send Naruto on this mission immediately after receiving the worst news of his life, but I have enough good faith in her to not see this as some callous dismissal of Naruto's feelings and more of a way to hopefully get his mind off of things. Plus, I mean, this is Naruto we're talking about. When he was talking to Shikamaru right before he got his head back on straight, he was making it seem like he was fine, even though he clearly wasn't. Who knows? Naruto might have been the one to say that he was good to go when everybody else was telling them not to. It's a bit of a stretch, but I did my best. The biggest problem with this movie's entire existence is something so small it's almost infuriating. It's the fact that the Raikage is both of his arms. If he only had one arm, then I could just say that this takes place anywhere after the 5 Kage summit and keep it pushing. But that's not the case. Things get even more messy though once we see that Naruto and B apparently know each other already best friends. They wouldn't meet until Naruto's Jinchuriki training. Of course, after the 5 Kage summit. Maybe the Raikage is just using a prosthetic in this movie, similar to Naruto at the end of the story, right? Spoilers. Sorta. Testing it out before ultimately ditching it for whatever reason. It was probably uncomfortable. But then we start running into the whole issue of there just being no place to squeeze in any sort of side stories from Naruto's Jinchuriki training onwards. Him and B jumping straight into the war because, well, it had already started before their training was complete. Quite the conundrum. Yeah, I don't know, boys. I don't know. I think this movie only kind of works as one giant what if branch timeline. We need to find some sort of way to postpone this war. Part of me is thinking like, okay, what if Danzo's reverse sealing jutsu actually worked to stop Toby and Sasuke? But then do they still go to war if the one spearheading the entire thing, Toby, was taken out by Danzo? And then Sasuke being taken out as well? What does Kabuto do with that information? And then also, you know, I just don't really feel like giving Danzo any W's. On to plan B. I mean, there was a bit of time after the summit where war preparations and all that were being made. That definitely took some time. I could do the same thing with Itachi in part 1. Like, what if Kabuto was a little bit late approaching Toby for the alliance, right? Like, what if he took a few more days to mull it over or something like that? But then I'm thinking like, well, would that really buy us enough time for Naruto to return to the village? Then Sasuke being weakened after the summit, again, like Kabuto would not miss that opportunity. The whole reason why the alliance was even a thing was just to keep Kabuto's hands off of Sasuke, right? I think the sweet spot for all of this might lie somewhere with the fight between Toby and Conan. Toby needs the Rinnegan for the Infinite Tsukuyomi, right? So he pulls up to the hidden rain to desecrate Nagato's corpse. This wasn't immediate though. Conan even says it herself. It took some time for Toby to finally show up. In the manga, this battle is supposed to take place concurrently with, you know, Naruto's training with B just beginning. And if we're going off of Naruto time, just to get to the Turtle Island by boat took at least a few days. Just enough time for the anime to squeeze in a criminally underrated filler arc. It took some time for Toby to confront Conan. Once Toby got to the Hidden Rain village, it's not like she made it hard for him. She was basically standing right there. What if Conan actually went into hiding? Again, it's not like she could totally escape him, but let's be real. Conan is still an S-rank shinobi. I'm sure she could seclude herself well enough to buy us at least like a week, right? I feel like that's reasonable, which will give us plenty of time for Naruto and B to return to their villages and prepare for the war with everybody else, which sets the stage for this movie, which kind of ruins the fact that the war is supposed to be a secret, but it's fine. He would have found out after Yamato turned up missing anyway. That handles the Toby situation. Kabuto? That's a whole separate issue. It wouldn't have to be if Yamato didn't make a cameo in this movie. Why is he even here? He doesn't do anything. In every timeline, there's no way he should have been here because he should have already been in Kabuto's captivity, bolstering the army of the White Zetsus against his will. I actually have a simple solution for this. Kabuto just gets captured because in this universe, Kurosuchi doesn't do that thing that all anime characters do for some reason and explain how their attack works down to the precise detail which Kabuto obviously uses to escape. Again, the same with the Toby thing. I'm not saying he will be held down for a ridiculous amount of time or anything, just long enough to delay a war a couple of days until he escapes and find some other different way of capturing Yamato. Now, I think I finally have a timeline where the movie can happen. Naruto has time to return to the village and get framed for this assassination attempt on the Raikage. Naruto and B are very well acquainted, and Yamato is still available to make his pointless cameo. The only question mark left, still, after all of that yapping, is why Naruto never uses his brand new QB Chakra mode to fight. I mean, hey, he was having his chakra suppressed for the entire movie. Maybe this somehow affected his communication with Kurama, right? I mean, if it makes you feel any better, he doesn't use any of the Nine Tails' chakra at all for this entire movie. I don't know, man. I'm tired. Another one that cannot fit anywhere after Naruto gets on that boat heading to the Turtle Island, but it's okay because this time, unlike the last movie, we don't have that killer bee-shaped plot hole, which gives us so much more breathing room to work with. What makes it even easier on me is the fact that only Naruto and Sakura are really the only ones in this movie, because most of it takes place in this elaborate genjutsu, an alternate world away from the real one. For me, this movie can easily take place during that post-5 Kage Summit war preparation phase of the story that I mentioned before. Specifically after Tsunade wakes up out of her coma, but before all of the village leaders convene in the Hidden Cloud to discuss the war, because that's when the decision is made to pit Naruto on the boat. This can explain why everyone was fighting against these Akatsuki doppelgangers at the beginning of the movie. Training drills, right? From the moment the Raikage decides to summon the other villages to when they finally meet, it's explicitly stated to be 3 whole days since the day that Tsunade woke up. Also the day that the Raikage decided to have this meeting, which allows for plenty of time for battle exercises, Toby testing out a bunch of genjutsu stuff for the war. It could also explain why everybody's being so affectionate at the beginning of this movie with their families and stuff, right? This would, in theory, be the final days before everybody goes to war. Toby doesn't get the Rinnegan until after Naruto starts his training with B, so that explains why he's still with the orange mask. It all works out. Why can't it always be this simple? Like, comment, subscribe. Time.
If it's me, I apologize. I'm just high. So sometimes I'll just emphasize. I'm just shy, so I really need to emphasize. After this performance, check my vitals, make sure that I'm still alive. Cause I give it all, give it all.